All right, it's time for an unboxing. Let's go in fast motion. 3 items from the same seller. We'll do 3 separate unboxings. All right, so I got 3 holy relics from the same seller. She listed these in the middle of the night and put it buy it now. And yeah, I snatched them up. Her prices weren't like fantastic, but they weren't as bad as most sellers. So it was a really good deal. And these 2 are wrapped in plastic, but this one isn't. And let's check it out. So the first one we're going to look at today is Saint Ben Joseph L. And what is that? We'll find out in a few minutes. But first, let's put these aside. We're going to also place this in a reliquary. We're going to find out what the saint did. And we're going to look at this. Now, it is filthy dirty. So take a look at it, filthy dirty, because I'm going to clean it. I'm going to look for any kind of wax stamps. And it's very hard to open some of these older pieces because they just get like really crusty. Yes, okay, this is definitely from the Vatican. We have a number that would correlate with the certificate, but unfortunately, the certificates all went missing. She bought this from the estate of a priest, she told me, that passed away. The family members sold all of his items. I believe this is 1954. So we have some kind of dating system, or this would be a number that would go on a certificate. We have, yeah, definitely, yep, not tampered with. Fantastic. All right, let's get to cleaning it. And I still have laryngitis, so excuse me. Okay, we're going to get to cleaning it. We're going to find out more about the saint. And then we're going to also put it in a reliquary. So let's go. This seller must be my absolute spirit animal because she gave me purple tissue paper. And this is my favorite shade of purple. All right, let's get to cleaning it. We're going to use lens cleaner, like eyeglass lens cleaner, on the glass. Careful not to let it leak in there. And then we're going to use SIMICHORME. Now look how black this is. And in a moment, I'm going to show you how clean this is going to look. Now, what kind of relic is it? Let's try to zoom in. I believe this is this is a first class relic for sure. All right, let's get in there for the tight zoom. The dogs are going to be bombing my video. I have 3 dogs now. We rescued one last week. There we go. And this looks like a first class. It could be ex carne or corpore, which is the skin or the body part of the saint. I don't think it's ossibus, which would be bone, but then again, I could be wrong. Really quite cool. All right, let's get going. Let's get cleaning this. And you can see the glass is filthy. So if you get a relic and it's dirty, I'm going to put the products the links to the products that I use in the description beneath the video. All right, let's go. First, we're going to use any kind of eyeglass lens cleaner. You can also use glass cleaner or rubbing alcohol, believe it or not. And so I'm going to spray it on this Q-tip. Let's go ahead and do that. I don't want to oversaturate the Q-tip with too much liquid, just enough. And we're just going to go in circular fashion. And you will see a lot of times blackness and filth will come off of this. But in this case, it's really not coming off, which is showing me that it's really not as dirty as I thought. I mean, you see some dirt on the Q-tip. Then we're going to dry it really fast. And I am going to get like a dish towel really fast, like an old beat up dish towel, and give it a quick once over, because if moisture gets inside of there, you're really screwed. You do not want that to happen. All right, so now we know it's really dry and the glass is very clean, as you can see. Now you can really see your relic. Next, we're going to take SIMICHORME, which is banned, I believe, in California. It's a German metal polish, all-purpose. And then we're going to take this product that I'm going to open up for you guys right now. Let's zoom out. There we go. Ube brand furniture, jewelry polishing cloths. I get these, like 3 packs of these all the time. These are phenomenal. All right, let's get it open. They come in different colors. I choose the color where I can see the dirt instead of getting it in black. All right, so the gray side is going to be your buffing side. This rag opens up. It's quite big. Let's open it up. It's like a book over here. And there we go. As you can see, this thing opens up. And this is the polishing side. It's supposed to come with polishing stuff built into the rag, but you notice it's never enough. This side's going to be your buffing. So after you polish with the polishing cream, you're going to buff it to a shine. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to just put a tiny bit of the SIMICHORME polish on the rag. I'm going to do it like this. You're going to try not to get it in the nooks and crannies. There's nooks and crannies on this. If it gets in the nooks and crannies, you're not going to be able to get it out. So you just want to surface clean it. And I'm going to leave the patina on the back. I'm just going to put a teeny bit of the pink stuff on. I mean, we're talking a teeny bit. And then I'm going to actually, let me get something padded. And we'll get like an old rag. Here we go. And you want, because you don't want to break the glass or anything. All right, so you're going to start in one spot and just keep rubbing. And you're going to have to do this multiple times over and over again. You can see the filter is coming off. And then you're going to have to keep adding some more. You can see it's starting to shine in that spot. My voice is terrible. I'm sorry. You're going to just keep doing this, reapplying some more of this solution. Not too much. Too much will get inside the grooves. And you'll have to get a toothbrush to get it out. You can't wash this or wet this. You know, you can't rinse it in the sink. So, because if moisture gets in here, your relic will be destroyed. But you're going to keep on doing this until no more dirt comes off. And as you can see, we're starting to see a difference already in this area right there. Now you're starting to see a big difference. This area was done. This was not. And the rag is getting covered in filth. Now this saint was known as the Great Unwashed. I am not kidding you, the Great Unwashed. And as you can see, we're washing the saint. And yeah, we're definitely washing the saint. And I will be back. All right, so I'm going to show you half of it is done. My hands are getting filthy dirty, but look at this. Okay? And this is the other side. So this is why I suggest the 3-pack of these rags. Because for one little relic, boom, you can't wash these. You can't just throw them in the machine. All right, so it's much cleaner. I left some of the patina on it. You want to leave the age. And I left the priest's fingerprints on the back of it and did not clean the back of it. Let's put it in a reliquary and let's find out about the Great Unwashed Saint. Why was he named the Great Unwashed? All right, so I placed it in its beautiful reliquary. Really, really nice. There we go. Always place them in reliquaries if you get them, because if something happens to them, if you leave them out of the reliquary, they will get damaged, they will get water damaged, they will get tarnished like you saw. You saw how black and filthy it was. It was because whoever owned it before did not take care of it and place it in a reliquary. All right, so this saint, Saint Benedict Joseph Labore, was French, canonized, I believe, by Pope Leo the 13th in 1880. He was mentally ill. And what I'm noticing it is, with all my research of the saints, most of them were mentally ill. They had mental illnesses, boys and girls. And why I'm actually drawn to them is because I have mental illnesses too. So yeah, like we're one big happy family. So let's find out more about this saint. All right, so here we go. Saint Benedict Joseph Labore. And he was born in 1748 in the Kingdom of France, died in the Papal States in 1783 at the age of 35, was beatified by Pope Pius IX in 1860 in Rome, and was canonized on December 8th by Pope Leo the 13th in 1881. Really interesting. Patronage the homeless and those suffering from mental illness. Yeah. And so there he is, the Great Unwashed. He was actually called the Great Unwashed because he didn't wash himself. And really interesting. Yeah. He was also known as a fool for Christ. And unfortunately, I'm definitely not a fool for Christ myself, because it refers to behavior such as giving up one's worldly possessions, all one's worldly possessions upon joining an order or religious life, or deliberately flouting society's conventions to serve a religious purpose. Not happening with me, unfortunately. I like my things, if you know what I mean. This guy has amazing, yes, miracles. He's attributed to 136 cures due to his intercession within 3 months of his death. These miracles were instrumental in the conversion of Reverend John Thayer, a Protestant. Yes, even a Protestant found that amazing, really quite cool. His feast day is observed on April 16th. It may be some of your birthdays. Whoever's watching this, maybe his feast day is on your birthday. Here's his actual death mask. Oof. Okay, not like really great to look at. Yeah. Saints who battled mental illness. And there's loads of them, boys and girls, as you can see here, as I'm scrolling. And we keep scrolling. And yes, we keep scrolling. And we keep scrolling. And there's more. And yeah, where's he? I'm supposed to be finding him right now. Can someone who is mentally ill become a saint? Yes, it brings forth holiness. I can tell you that much now. I should be a saint. So basically, boys and girls, if you are filled with suffering, mental anguish, grief, and mental illness, and emotional suffering, you will actually, you're suffering Christ. You're suffering like Christ. You can be a saint. Yes. And here we go. Some neurotic saints. Here he is right there. And yeah, here's many more. My favorite, Saint Therese of Lisieux. Lisieux? I can't pronounce French very well with laryngitis, or even normally. And yeah, that's even her father. Her father suffered from mental illness. Saint Teresa of Avila. Yeah, prolonged and agonized mental illness and torment and nervousness. And let's keep going. And there we go. There's a list, a litany. Let's find him. Where is he? Aha, here we go. At the long line. St. Catherine, St. John the Baptist Rossi, St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul? Really? Oh, God, that just scared the shit out of me. Hold a minute. Shut up, you little bastard. I'm on camera. As you can tell, I'm quite jumpy. It's from, again, you're doing this to me again. Now I'm going to have to take my pills. Okay, even a bark of a dog makes me jump 10 feet in the air without anticipating it. All right, here we go. St. Vincent de Paul. Here we go. St. Benedict Joseph Labore, Rome's beggar, and called the Great Unwashed, was a neurotic derelict who experienced mental depression to a painful degree. It wasn't just the blues, it was black depression, writes his biographer. St. Paul of the Cross, St. Charles Sauzet, St. Therese. Yeah, St. Therese, my favorite. My God. Neuroses, sanctified. Yes, sanctified. So you, too, can become a saint like I am.
A saint I would like to tell you about is Saint Benedict Joseph Labore. He was born in the middle of the 1700s in France. He was the eldest child in a family of 15, and his greatest desire was to be a priest. He had an uncle who was a priest who was helping him out in this endeavor. His parents at first were against it. They thought he was too young. He tried to go into seminary at 16 years old. Finally, at 18 years old, he joined his first religious community, and he wasn't there very long, and they asked him to leave. It was a great shock for him, and it was very depressing for him. After some time, he went to another religious community. They also asked him to leave, and he went to another one after that, and they also asked him to leave. And so what he decided to do is to wander throughout Europe, going from shrine to shrine. He would sleep in whatever place where he would be out of the way and not bother people. People would see him. You couldn't help but notice somebody who is walking the streets, and kids would tease him. They would throw rocks at him. And, Benedict absorbed all of this in a sacrificial way in order to make reparation for the rejection that Jesus felt. And he began to identify at a mystical level with that rejection that was experienced by our Lord. He knew that he was different than everybody else, and that he was largely rejected by society. And so he didn't whine, cry about it. He didn't put himself into a place of depression over it, but grabbed onto Christ, the mystical Christ, and identified with the divine being who came to the earth he created and was rejected by his creatures. His spirituality of identifying with the rejection of Christ was so great that even the fleas that were on his body, he would not pick off. He would allow the vermin to feed off of him, to irritate his flesh, as a way to come closer to that identification with the totally rejected Christ, the Christ whose life was evicted and extinguished by those creatures he made. He wandered from shrine to shrine throughout Europe and eventually settled upon Rome. He lived as a beggar. He begged for his food, and whatever he was given, he would have a portion of it and give the rest to the other poor. When he would be present in a church, people would see him lost in prayer. He had a profoundly rich spiritual life, and he had cultivated a great devotion to Our Lady and a great devotion to our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. In fact, he was called the man of the 40 hours devotion when he was in Italy. To go from where he rested each night to a particular shrine that he was fond of within Rome, he would cut through Piazza Navona, one of the most famous squares in Rome. There was a bully, an individual that would see him every day and would go out of his way to beat the pulp out of him as he did so. And yet, St. Benedict Joseph continued that journey every day and didn't allow that beating he would get to deter him from his way. Now, why would he do that? Well, on the one hand, it was another way to identify with the rejection of Christ, but in his heart, he sensed that God was going to communicate to this bully the senselessness of his action. And in fact, that is what happened. His patient reception of that injustice ended up converting the man's heart. St. Benedict Joseph Lab died at the age of 35. He died in Rome. He died at the church of Santa Maria ai Monte, which is not far from the Colosseum, where he slept many nights. He died with a profound reputation of holiness. He was a great friend to the other street people. On many occasions, he had caused food to multiply in their presence. He would pull out a bowl of peas. All of a sudden, that bowl of peas, there would be enough to put in the bowl of every beggar that came. This was a nobody who lived on the streets of Rome. Numerous cardinals attended his funeral, and almost 150 miracles were recorded in the 3 months following his death that occurred at his tomb. And his tomb is a thing of glory. It's inside Santa Maria ai Monte Church. To me, it is absolutely, easily the most beautiful tomb of anyone in Rome. It is carved out of marble, of solid marble. The intricacies of the body of St. Benedict Joseph Lab, who you can see his body emaciated and wasted away through his walking, but through malnutrition, lying on pillows, and just creates a beautiful sight of the glory and the richness that was in his interior life, the devotion, friendship, and love of God that carried him and was always aglow within him as he wandered around and lived day to day. So let us invoke St. Benedict Joseph Lab. Let us look to him as our friend and intercessor. St. Benedict Joseph Lab, pray for us.
Okay, so that just brought a tear to my eye after I was like acting like a jerk and cursing a little bit and saying foul language. That just like really brought a tear to my eye. Really brought a tear to my eye. Now this relic was the cheapest out of all three. And I never even heard of him before. I never even heard of him in my whole entire life. Now, I've heard of many saints like St. Anthony, St. Francis, and St. Vincent de Paul, and saints such like that, but not of this guy. And so when I just heard his story, on YouTube, I just looked it up and I found that video with Father Carlos Martin, who is a really great storyteller. Wow, he should be a saint in his own right for bringing people closer to finding out the virtues of the saints and of the relics. Wow. Okay, so this guy really went through the ringer, and he was very kind and very good. And so I'm over the moon, even more so now, about having this relic in my collection. This was really, really a blessing, an actual blessing, to have this holy first-class relic of the saint in my collection, and I will cherish it for all my life and share it with many others who come into my life. So thanks for watching. See you guys all soon. Sorry for my uppity, I'm very jumpy. I have very bad anxiety issues and PTSD, so I jump. If my dogs bark for no reason at all, I jump and I spew expletives out of fear. And so, wow, okay, we know a lot more about him now. Thank you for joining me. If you're not a Catholic and you hate Catholics or you hate religion, it's still interesting to find out about the lives of virtuous people, probably people that are much more well-behaved than we are, and much less sinful than we are. Although everybody sins, this guy was a saint.